corner. Winter is upon us, and some of the maintenance of an exterior home for a country property is quite different than one that you would have in town. In the country, many of you know that you would have a septic system. The septic system, as we all know, is what holds all your pee and poop, um, and then filters it out, and then you get the tanks pumped 3 to 5 years depending on the usage. With the newer septic systems, and even if you have an old septic system, it's good to get what's called a filter into the system, into your second tank. And what that does is it just keeps any solids from going out into the actual field, because that would be bad for your field. It would start clogging up your runs, or in this case, clogging up your peat moss system. So septics, there's different types of septics out there. There's the peat moss system, which is what I have. There's traditional beds um, that are, they can either be stone and pipe, or some people use sand in like a cloth material. So it doesn't matter what type of system you have, you'll always have tanks. So you'll have a liquid tank and a solid tank, and then from that, the baffle will go out to your main run. Now, in the systems that are newer, there are filters in there that do require being cleaned out once a year. It's not fun, it is smelly, but it's really easy to do. So you could either call someone to come out and do it for you and pay them, or if you have a child, you can always show them how to do it and kind of monitor it. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you how to get that filter out, then go back through the steps on how to clean it. So you're dealing with sewage, so the best thing to do is to go out and buy some gloves, because your hands are going to go in the septic system to pull that filter out. Now, with the tanks, again, there's different kinds. Mine and the newer ones are above ground. Well, the tank's not above ground, but the lids are above ground. They're not buried below. So I have two green, as you can see, two green round circles, basically lids. So the first chamber you don't want to touch, because that is flowing into the second chamber. It's in the second chamber that you're going to find this filter. Now, if you have an older system, your tank lids will be buried. So you'll have to usually measure out, I would say 4 feet from the house, maybe 6 feet from the house, to find your lids if you don't know where your tank is. And then kind of poke around, and then you'll hear kind of clunk clunk, and then start digging up. So that's how you would find your tanks. Always best, even if you have an older system, you could call a septic company to come in and ask them to install raised lids. The reason being is that when it's underground, those lids, they're concrete, and they eventually will break and erode. So having them above ground, A, is a lot more convenient because you know where they are, and B, it's a lot friendlier and will help your system last a lot longer. So I'm going to get Jacob here to on the lids to unscrew my second lid, because again, that's where we're going to find the filter. Gotta love child labor. So in the lids, as you see, there'll be screws, and you don't want to lose the screws. So either put them in your pocket or have a baggie or something, because you want to make sure that you can find them all. I'm famous for losing screws. I can lose anything, actually, pretty easily. So this way you don't lose them, and it makes life a lot easier. Now, on a peat moss system, the newer systems, you do get a warranty. You have to pay for an annual fee. It's really relatively inexpensive to do. It's a yearly fee, and it's usually about $180 to $200 with the EcoFlow. And they do come out and they check your system once a year for you in that fee, but they don't change the filter or not change, they don't clean the filter for you. So some people, some of my clients, when I chat with them, they think that that's included in this annual fee, but it's not. So and what this filter does, when we get it out, I'll show you, is like I said, it just stops the solids from seeping through into your runs or your peat moss, which is what I have on my system. So you want to make sure that it's cleaned a minimum once a year. Even if you did it in the fall and the spring, that's even better. You'll notice it clogging, the filter clogging up. If you start flushing your toilets and you hear gurgling, or the sinks are gurgling a bit, before you kind of freak out and start panicking, open up the tank and clean it out and make sure that it has no debris in it, and then see if the issue still persists in the house, because a lot of times that's all it is, and then that will save you a lot of, a few $100s for having someone come out and just do it for you. So there we go. So we're almost there. There's two more screws, and then we'll lift up the lid. All right, so we have the lid off, and this is what your second tank is going to look like. It is really stinky, and actually I'm glad I did this, because mine's showing to be, after 2 years, it is a little high, so I probably will call someone to come out and pump it out for me. So this, I hope I don't drop my phone in here. So this white pipe and the blue filter, so that's the filter that we're going to pull out. Jacob, if you want to pull out that, yeah, carefully.
Oh, wow.
Perfect. So pretty easy stuff. Don't put it on Daddy's screwdriver. So, so just put it over there, Jake, if you want. Perfect. So, yeah, so like I said, it's just the blue part in there. And then you can see that it's just plastic. And then it's got some sludge on it that you can see. So we're going to clean that off. So, Jacob, I'll give you the... So just one thing to remember, because I've had one client do this, when you're spraying, to clean the filter, spray away from you. Unfortunately, a client kind of forgot and they got poop on themselves. So kind of a funny story, but kind of a gross story. So you don't really want to do that, because that's kind of a messy thing. So you just want to, yeah, that's good, Jake. Just keep all right, so we're all good. Maybe another thing to note is put on some old shoes or work boots. Jacob has his school shoes on, and unfortunately we got them a little wet. So just wanted to bring you closer to the filter. So Jacob, you can just put it down for a sec. Yeah, that's perfect. So actually just, yeah, hold it. So if you kind of notice, can you hold it from this side, Jake? Because the sun, your hands kind of blocking the sun, and I want to show them. Perfect, thanks. So as you can see on the top of the filter, there's an arrow. So that arrow, when you go to put it back in, you want to make sure that arrow is pointing towards the run. So you don't want it pointing backwards towards the house, because then it's installed backwards and it won't filter properly. So again, make sure that that arrow is pointing. Jake, do you want to turn it for me? So see how it's pointing? Yeah, keep going. Perfect. So you want it pointing out. So everything comes through the back here and then stops. So now all we're going to do is I'm going to get Jacob to plunk it back in. So there it is. Again, make sure that arrow is pointing out. Make sure it's securely all the way down. You're good, Jake?
Yep.
Perfect. So pretty easy stuff. Doesn't take long, 5 minutes, 10 minutes max. And then you just put the lid back on and screw everything back and you're good to go. So pretty easy peasy. And like I said, that filter's been in there. I didn't clean it since I moved in. So say it's been in there for 2 years, so not so bad. But again, if there was something that was large clogging it, it could have a detrimental effect onto your yuck, onto the pipes or the rest of your bed. And that's an expensive thing, right? So, $25,000 system, you want to make sure that you maintain it properly like you would your car. So, if you have any questions about this, feel free to email me at sam@samcur.com or call your local septic either pumper. There's septic pumpers out there, or septic installers as well. They're really great to talk to and to discuss, if you have any issues or any concerns. But like I said, as you saw, really easy to do, and not not the greatest smelling thing. So that's something you should never do. Never step on the tanks, on the lids, because you might crack it. But yeah, so I hope that this was um, educational for you, and I hope it helps you out this fall or even in the spring. Um, and don't be afraid of your system. I know a lot of people are afraid of the septic systems and they think they're kind of dainty and they don't want to touch them. But it is a main part of your house. So, it's good to get comfortable with it, get comfortable with taking the lids off and stuff, and ensuring that it's working properly. So that's it